Movie review. Physical media. And gummy unicorn. Booyah! Tippy tie, my damies, and welcome to episode 41 of Reviewedly Interrupted with me, your host, Morning Tang. Yes, it's nice, bright, early morning. You can see the sun rays shining upon my face and my coffee cup. So episode 41, Suspiria. Got it on this nice 2-disc Blue Underground edition DVD. I do need to upgrade it to Blu-ray at some point. It's just like, it's the bane of many of us collectors, where it's like, you buy the movie and then it's like, oh, there's a new format, and then they put all this shit on it, like special features and everything else, and then of course, you know, you got the better quality of Blu-ray, so you gotta like rebuy movies and everything. But it's honestly, if you love the movie, it's worth it. You're getting an upgrade in like picture quality, and it's like, we don't have like a sound setup. You know how it's like you can buy like those like things you hook up and it's like 7.1 surround and you got the speaker on. We don't have like that kind of setup. Down the road in the future, when we're not like in an apartment where it's like maybe we got somebody downstairs next to us or something like that, and it's like we don't have to worry a ton about volume. I'll probably get something like that, so when I sit down and watch the movies, it'll be like, wow, sound wise also. I love my coffee. But yeah, Suspiria, it's a classic. Okay, back in the era of solid Argento flicks, you know. I don't know what happened like later on. I got like a set that's like 5 movies, and there's like stuff in there like The Card Player, which was pretty decent, but it's like, it was almost kind of like, like it didn't have the same quality, you know. And then like his newer stuff, a lot of people are like, Argento, what happened to you? I mean, there's like his Dracula 3D, which I think no one in the world likes, but it does have Rutger Hauer, so I am totally into that. And it looks like it looks like my camera was moving, like it was trying to focus on me because the light keeps changing, so it's just kind of going, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna keep that. But yeah, so this is the first film in Argento's Three Mothers trilogy. There's also Inferno, Chapter 2, and then Chapter 3, Mother of Tears. And it's like, Inferno is still from like the classic era, and Mother of Tears is a newer one, and it's not too bad, but it doesn't, like, everybody who's an Argento fan knows that there's like the classic period of Argento, where it's like Four Flies on Grey Velvet, Cat o' Nine Tails, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Suspiria, even up to like Sleepless, which is one of my favorites because it's just like fucking crazy. But yeah, soundtrack by Goblin, which is fucking awesome. Love Goblin. Claudio Simonetti, and the music is just so great on this. The soundtrack is just awesome. I mean, the kills, there's like the first real big kill, which is epic, but I gotta say my favorite kill in the movie is when that one bitch is running away, like the one that's like the first one to really maybe figure something out, or the first one that we really get to know that figured something out, that isn't just running off into the rain or whatever, you know, like at the beginning. But when she's like running from that killer that has like the straight razor and everything, and she goes in that room and she's just like, I'm on this little ledge and I need to get over to that door. I'm not going to look down at all. I'm just going to jump. And she jumps into, like, for some reason, a room filled with coils and coils of razor wire. and she's like trapped in it, and she's moving around, and you just think about it. It's like you've made the mistake of jumping into it already, and then it's like all those little razors on the razor wire, which if you don't know what razor wire is, it looks like barbed wire, except it has little razors instead of the barbs. And so she's in that shit, and she's like crawling, trying to get out, falling around, and you just think like, oh, that shit is slashing her up, you know? It's just, oh. I couldn't even imagine. It'd be like, what would you do? Probably just stay still and be like, well, I live here now forever. But like, you know, and then she gets close to the door, and then the killer just slices her throat. That slice, it's like, I gotta watch it, like the special features again, and maybe even watch it with a, I'm pretty sure this has to have like a commentary where it's just like what they used for that effect, because it almost looks like they used like maybe like a pig or something like that, and just like up close, and then just did like the slice and everything. Because I mean, that is some great effects. That's practical effects, but I don't think it's like all latex and shit like that. Like they used like a pig to slice, because I mean the flesh underneath looked fucking like wow. But it's really great that you know, it's very Giallo-esque, but then has like the supernatural aspect of like, these bitches are witches. Yes, they're witch bitches. These bitches are witches. And which bitch is the worst witch? The fucking old hag that you never, you see a little bit, but not really. And the whole ending where it's just like pretty cool, or like just shanks that bitch in the neck, and then that takes care of the witches. For some reason in the coven, even if there's a bunch of witches, if you kill the main witch, then that's like it. They have no powers, I guess, or something. But like, really, really cool shit. And like, I do believe that The Beyond came out in the 80s. This came out in 77, right? It almost seemed like there was a couple things that Fulci borrowed from this movie. Like one is, you know, there's the blind guy and he's got his dog, and he's like walking home after being at the German beer hall or whatever it was. And all of a sudden, like, you know, there's some weird shit going on, and then it makes the dog like attack the owner, jump up and, you know, grab his throat, and it's like tearing at his throat and stuff. Like, you know, that harkens like Fulci did that in the Beyond with the blind lady. You know, all of a sudden her dog turns on her and everything. So I was like, okay, Fulci borrowed from that, definitely. And there was something else in here as I was watching it. I was like, dude, that was like Fulci borrowed that too. Like, maybe he was just kind of like, you know, that was pretty cool, but let me do it in my way. And Fulci, of course, is just going to go like madcap crazy. And I'm looking forward to doing the Beyond down the road, because that movie is sick. It's one of my favorites. The Beyond, aka Seven Doors of Death, which, you know, it's just great. But yeah, I really do want to like upgrade this to Blu-ray and see it on Blu-ray, because, you know, one of the main things that people talk about with Argento is his use of colors, like with the lighting and everything. And here it's like, in this movie, it's like full force, you know? I mean, just very, like, there's some later movies where it's like he uses it, but it's like not as intense. But in this movie, he really used the color schemes of like lighting like very intensely. They were very much almost like a third character. I don't know, there's a bunch of characters in here. Another character in this fucking film, you know? And yeah, it was like, it was pretty cool. It really adds to the whole element, and just like the weird supernatural. It's just like the whole time there's like this vibe that is that Giallo type vibe, where it's like there's mystery and what's going on. You know, of course I've seen the movie like hella times, so it's like I know what's gonna happen, I know what's going on. But it's like, for a first time viewer, it's like, okay, what's going on? Oh, they're witches? And then you start getting into it, and it's like the use of color really adds to the ambiance of the scenes and everything. And just like the look of the sets. I mean, the Ballet Academy, just, if you look at some of the hallways and even the big fucking foyer and on the rooms and everything like that, you see, like, some of the rooms look very sparse, but then you go down these very extravagant hallways and very extravagant rooms, you know, and like, I don't know, it kind of adds to the whole ambiance also, where it's like, okay, you got this extravagance, but then over here is like, you know, just a simple little, this is what you're living in, this simple little shit room, haha, and then out there it's like, wow, you know. But it's got a great like storyline. The way it progresses is like, the script is actually very tight, you know. I think the pacing and everything else for this film really works. Like, he was really on it with this motherfucker. And Udo Kier, it has Udo Kier in it. So I mean, even if like this movie was absolute garbage, just the fact that Udo Kier was in there for a little bit, I'd be like, come here, you can come live with me. I mean, Udo Kier is fucking classic, dude. It's fucking, he's like awesome. But yeah, I mean, if you're into Italian horror, or you want to get into Italian horror, Suspiria is definitely one of the cornerstones. It's very classic, definitely worth getting. I am now speaking of next time. Yeah. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go Americana. I'm going to go with something very American. Very American. I'm going to do another vampire movie, and it's in this lovely little set that I picked up at, I got this at Walmart. It was like 15 bucks, 20 bucks. It was something cheap. And it's the King of Horror Expanded Edition 8 film dealio. I already had Cat's Eye and The Shining and Creep Show, and maybe It. Like, so I had about half the movies, but the other half I didn't. And so it's like, if you're a collector, it sometimes, like, because this isn't gonna have like a bunch of like crazy special features for every fucking movie and all that kind of shit. You know how it's like, it'll be like, you get Salem's Lot, and which is the movie I'm doing next. Salem's Lot, that's the one I'm doing next. Salem's Lot, right there. Salem's Lot, which is one of the best Stephen King adaptations from one of his novels like ever made. But it's like, you buy Salem's Lot itself with the special edition, might have 2 or 3 discs, tons of extras, all this other kind of stuff, blah blah blah. A set like this isn't gonna have it. So what you do, if you're a collector, sure, it's an awesome little set, but if you've already have like half the movies, it becomes a balancing thing where it's like, okay, how many of the movies do I not own? What is the price? Is it gonna balance where it's like, okay, for that price, getting these other movies that I don't have, it works. So that's what I did when I picked this up. And yeah, so Salem's Lot is what I'm gonna be doing on episode 42. A classic. Okay, back to Suspiria. Oh yeah, Blue Underground releases. Blue Underground releases some really cool shit, from like straight up Italian horror stuff to more like exploitation, sexploitation shit. It's just kind of like all over the place. It's like it's just basically like Grindhouse type shit. Except I don't know if I'd put Suspiria really too far into Grindhouse, but like it definitely just covers like a lot of, maybe from like sometime in the 70s to some 80s shit, because I do believe there's like stuff like Maniac Cop, maybe they released under some of their stuff, but whatever. So Blue Underground does have some cool shit. I should probably put like a link to Blue Underground if you want to go check out their website too. That would be a good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'll put the link to Blue Underground in there. But yeah, so if you're new to horror and you love the genre and you want to get into some more classics, Suspiria is definitely one of those films that's like classic. For true horror fans, they're like, this is one of the classics, along with like, you know, American stuff like Halloween, the first Friday the 13th, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, a lot of those real classic cornerstone movies, the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then you got shit like Suspiria, Lucio Fulci's Zombie. There's like, Suspiria is one of those. So if you're already like a horror nut and into this shit, you know what I'm talking about. If you're new to horror, you want to get into some stuff, you're like, well, what's some stuff that's cool? Suspiria is one of those. So it's a good introduction to like some Giallo, you know. Although I would say Bird with the Crystal Plumage and Cat o' Nine Tails are like pure, unadulterated Giallo perfection. So I do recommend those like a motherfucker. But yeah, it was fun to watch it again. You know, it's a very, very solid movie, and I have yet to see the remake. I heard the remake's actually pretty well. I've heard it's been divided. I've heard maybe more that it's actually like pretty solid. So it's like it would down the road picking that up and watching it and kind of comparing the two, and you know, seeing if they kind of did the original justice in a way, but also doing their own thing. I like remakes that do that. Like a lot of people don't like remakes. I'm a fan. You know, where it does the original some justice, but does their own thing enough that I'm not just watching a complete recreation of the original, because we already have the original. A lot of people get pissed off. They're like, well, this and that, blah. Yeah, but you already have that film. That film is already there. That classic original film is there. So you need to compartmentalize and be like, I have this. This is this great film. This is something different. The remake, reboot, whatever in the fuck, it's a different fucking movie. You have that original. You always have that. It's always going to be there. So you have to like kind of be like, okay, I'm watching this one now. You can compare the two and you might be like, the remake is fucking ass. Or you might be like, wow, it actually outdid that. But that's what I do when I watch it. I almost look at it as like a remix. I have my original. I have the great classic original. Let's see what the remix is. You know, and sometimes it's like, I'm like, yeah, I dig them both. Sure, I do prefer the original in a lot of cases, but remakes aren't too bad. So we'll see down the road, you know. But yeah, and the link, this is actually, you can go watch this on Tubi if you want to watch it on Tubi. I got the link in there, so you can go watch it on Tubi, the most amazing app ever for streaming movies. Netflix can suck it. Hulu has some cool stuff that I like, but my number one favorite streaming app is Tubi. And I tell you what, anybody who wants to make fun of Tubi can suck it, and they can suck it hard, because Tubi is fucking amazing, and I will always sing its praises, unless it gets stupid and starts charging people like $20 a month for something, you know? But yeah, so if you own a copy, go watch it. If you don't, follow the link, go to Tubi, enjoy yourself. Happy October Halloween month, motherfuckers. And I've signed your pity on the runny kind. I've signed it all. I've signed it all over your pity kind. It's just been signed. I mean, you know, it's basically your pity kind. How much I've signed it? It looks like it looks like a subway wall that's been tagged by miscreants, paint huffing miscreants. But yeah, so all right, that's enough with this. Catch you all next time when I do Salem's Lot. So deuces, bitches, and bitches, deuces. See you next time. This has been Reviewedly Interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang, and Suspiria. Fuckers.
No, Luigi, my... what is it? Hey, everyone!